get to it. Most men don't have a problem providing for a woman. I think they have a problem with a woman who can't provide for herself and demanding a man to do it for her. This one says most men are in 50-50 relationships. They're not providing for women solely. Most women are not requiring men to be sole providers. Y'all are talking about a minority of men and women. Men lead with their money to date women they find attractive and oftentimes way out of their league in the looks department. And those women lead with their looks to date men with money. These men know this and are perfectly fine with it. It's understood and transactional. Last slide. The only people who criticize this is women who parrots the beliefs of most men who feel women shouldn't demand a man to provide for her to get some form of approval, or women who don't possess the attractiveness that would allow her to demand financially security from a man. The men who complain are simply men who can't afford the women they truly desire, which is why hypergamous women and wealthy men aren't online and having this debate. What's the point in criticizing people for their criteria in relationships when there's a ton of people who are willing to meet it? I think people should stay in their lane and do what works for them. The topic: most men don't have a problem providing for a woman. Let's go ahead and dive into this in context of what you guys seen on the slides. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Lady Di.
So there's a lot of women demanding to have the 50-50. Like they want to work and stuff. So I don't see too many men saying, yeah, we should go 50-50 and split everything. That's more of a woman wanting to go out because she doesn't want to stay at home. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Who else wants to go ahead and dive into this? Go ahead, Mommy 3. I see you over there with the tight lip.
Okay. All I'm going to say, I'm going to keep it clean. I'm trying to work on my language. So what I'm going to say is men pay for what they want. If he see a lady that he like, he tends to spend money on her to get her to that, like, oh, he buying this for me because I'm trying to say it in a good way. If a man is not like offering
be yourself, Mommy 3 Love. Be yourself.
If a man isn't offering you anything, he don't really like you like that. If a man really wants you, he's gonna court you. He's gonna say, look, hey, are you hungry? Like he'll ask those things. You got men that just want to have sex with women and they're not gonna even take them out on a date. They're not gonna even take them out in public. They're gonna hit them up when it's convenient. So I feel like, men, they don't have a problem providing for a woman that they want.
Yeah, I agree. Men go after what they want. They pay for what they want. Even in marriage, if he knows he wants to marry you, he knows it's not going to take him forever. But there are women who feel entitled to a man providing for her just because she's a woman, or just because, that's the way she feels it should be. And he's like, you're not entitled to my money. I have to do this for you. I feel like women should let men make their decisions. Sit back and see and watch the decision that he makes. I don't think you should feel entitled to his money. I don't think you should feel entitled for him taking you anywhere. You let that man make those decisions. And if he's not making those decisions with you, you're not the one.
I feel you, Precious. I think 50-50 women and men should get together. And then the men that want to be providers should be with the women who want to be provided for. It doesn't have to be that complex. You can't change a person and try to force them to fit the mold of what you want. Just find somebody that's on the same page as you. Mm-hmm. I keep seeing this debate all over TikTok. And it's so strange that men are trying to tell women that they shouldn't want this. And it just is dumb. Just choose somebody that wants what you want. It's not complex. That's how I see it. So
there's reasons why men are like saying that, being the provider type and wanting a woman to, kind of be the homemaker. Because in this society, a lot of women don't really want to be a homemaker. And it's kind of not every situation, but it's kind of destroying the community for women wanting to just only work and they're not taking care of the kids how they should be. And I'm not speaking for everybody. It's just majority of what I'm seeing. Like when COVID happened, pandemic, people were going crazy because they were at home with their family. That shows you right there that everybody is being separated from work and they're not able to have a great dynamic with their own family, which is sad. So that provider lifestyle, homemaker lifestyle sometimes is needed for, a certain individual, but I think it should be more of it. We need to do that more so.
Yeah, that's true, Lady Di, because I just see a lot of women that have kids, but not like mother. Like they don't even act like mothers. They're not nurturing. And when COVID hit, they was forced to teach their kids, at home, and it was on the news like just about every week. Kids are getting abused. Their mom can't even handle them because they so used to just being this want to be independent. But I just feel like you want to be independent, like you need to be all around. And I just feel like a lot of I feel like they need to bring back cleaning and women doing these things so they can learn how to be nurturing. It's so crazy that you have men out here trying to teach women how to be a woman because their mom wasn't in their life, or they didn't have a good relationship with their mom. So you got a lot of men having kids or marrying a woman and have kids with them, and he's like, man, this how you you can't, they don't even know how to be a parent. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I just feel like we really need to start pushing that more, that that young ladies should want to do these things, not only for the man but for themselves. Be clean. It's a lot of nasty women out here.
And that's a good point. Like you could be independent, like do what you want to do, go work, but you still got to be a mother. You still got to be that nurturing, like what Mommy 3 was saying. I don't see how all of that should take away from it just because you're doing 50-50. Like a man is going to be a man. He's a provider anyway. Men are not nurturing though. Yeah, they're going to be a good father, but it's not going to look the same as how a mother would be. So I still feel like still be that and make money. I don't know why it's
a lot of women don't know how to just be that because they haven't seen it. They haven't seen, a mother and a father love on each other and, handle the responsibility, and a man be a provider and the woman be the homemaker and not complain about it and know that's just her place and her role. And, if she chooses to work, she can. But for the most part, the woman makes the house a home. The man provides for the house. So, I don't think men have a problem with providing, but women have problems, making a house a home because one, they've never seen it, or they want to reinvent the wheel, thinking that it could be, you can have this and that when you haven't even had a conversation with, your significant other about what this and that is going to look like and what it's going to feel like and how life is going to be if that was a situation. It's just there's not enough example of it. And then you don't have the older generation, reaching back saying, hey, you're doing it wrong. This is how you should be doing it. We need to correct it. We need to fix it. A lot of people don't hold themselves responsible for other people like it was back in the day. Back in the day, your neighbors could say something to you and get it back to your parents and be like, yeah, he was acting up today or she was acting up today in the street. Nowadays, nobody cares about anybody else. And so everybody going with their own agenda.
Yes, Precious. One thing I learned is that you're never going to tell a grown woman what to do. That's not how life works. So we could say all day, women should do this and do that, but a woman's going to do what she wants to do. So I don't think for me, the best approach, I think, is leading by example and living what you think women should be doing. You should be living it first. Be the example that you want to see. And then we could teach our children. We could teach our girls. That's what's happening. Nobody's teaching the kids. So we have to start with the kids. This generation now, the grown women, they are what they are. I can't see me telling a 30, 35-year-old woman, hey, stop this. They're not going to do it. They're going to do what they want. Right. And then by the time they want to change, I'm not going to say it's too late, but 99% of the time it's too late. So it's like, I'm not even being funny. It's like, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to their 16-year-old daughters. You know what I mean? That's like my message, just to the young girls before it gets to that point of no return. So you could say all day, grown women do this. They're not going to listen to you. If they come to me and they're ready and willing to change, okay. But other than that, I'm talking to the kids. So that's my approach.
That's a good point for sure. I agree with that. I was going to say something to Precious, you said that they haven't seen it. I agree. Maybe like they haven't seen it in person, but anyone that watches TV and movies, they've seen it. I mean, Brady
It's
Bunch.
not the same.
My
It's not
wife
the
and
same. That's
kids,
like watching
like-
basketball and saying, "Oh, I know how to shoot a shot," but until you're on the court really shooting the shot and following through and knowing how the ball feels between your hands to do
Right.
it, it's a difference.
It is a difference,
It's a
but
difference.
at least you have the idea to go inquire about more of it. That's the thing. We just stop and like, oh, okay, that's it. No, what happened to the research? Nobody likes to research. Nobody likes to read. Nobody likes to ask questions. There's older people married, you know, still 20, 30 years, and ain't nobody asking them nothing. And that's what I'm saying. It's like we shouldn't stop at what we look at. Go
Yeah.
further and push for knowledge. And that's
Yeah.
what this community needs to do more of.
That's true.
I
Seeking.
think it's weird though, you know, like we talk about money so much in these relationships, but it's funny how the men back in the day, women, their wives didn't know how much they actually made. You know, for the most part, what do you need? Okay, here you go get what you need. It wasn't like I make this or I make that. Like most of the husbands that my friends' fathers, like their wives wasn't running around, oh, my husband make this, he make and men wasn't screaming it from the rooftops, like, yo, I get this. Like now you wear that on your sleeve, which makes you a mark, because if a woman shouldn't know exactly to the cent how much you make. She should and think about it, have a roundabout number, but she shouldn't know exactly. And she shouldn't know everything you have. So I think it's just funny how we talk so much about, being provided for. You make yourself a mark by saying how much money you have, because it's like, okay, whereas before I would have asked for a pair of Nikes, now I'm gonna ask for some Balenciagas because he's already promoted to me that this is where he's at. It's like, what do you tell me what you need? Your needs are gonna change based on how much money you know is available. That's how I believe. And I mean, that's what it is. So what do you need? Okay, boom, we'll do that. You don't need to know how much money, how you're going to be provided for. You ask me if I can do it, I'll do it. I may have it and just don't even feel it's reasonable it's not a necessity at this time. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
You mean that in a marriage, Jay, or in dating and courting?
I mean, in marriage and in dating. I mean, if you're wearing your worth on your forehead, you're pretty much promoting how you should be treated. Like the question, what do you do? That's almost like saying, okay, how should I be treated? Like that's a question that's really telling the person, okay, he worked for the bus system, he worked for the transit for 20 years, so okay, I'm gonna treat him like this. He's a lawyer, I'm gonna treat him like this. Well, the lawyer could be broke. The dude who worked for the transit for 20 years got a pension, got money saved, you know what I mean? So, but they're going to treat. So my thing is, a lot of that stuff should be left out initially.
For a certain type of women, I agree. Like, because there's women, they'll know they got like $1 million and they already trying to buy $1 million house. When if you have $1 million, you can't buy $1 million house. Like, doesn't make sense. So I think teaching financial literacy, if they can get with it, because some women can't, they don't understand financial literacy, right? So if you have a woman who can't get with that and they're like too, far gone with it, then yeah, maybe you don't have to show the dollar amount when you're in a marriage. But if a woman could adapt to that, then, sharing what you guys have should be appropriate, because women have knowledge as well. So they could be like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this with that part of the money. Let's save this aside, and let's invest on this project, because they know what they have. So it just depends on who you have. And I think that people should definitely, when you're dating or in a relationship, financial literacy should be part of y'all dating. Like, instead of, you go out to eat, but you ain't learning anything else to eat. You just eating food. So make y'all dates more like interview style. Like, okay, what can this person do? What does this person know? And then, okay, I understand that this person has a lot of knowledge and certain things that can help us grow if we decide to make it serious.
So, okay, real quick, I'm sorry. What you were going to say, Balance? My fault.
I was going to say financial literacy is not synonymous with a man. Like, it's real odd to me that some people just equate like the way you manage your finances with a male, because there are women that are very good at that and make more money. So just that dynamic is weird to me, to say you shouldn't be transparent with how much you make during a marriage. If you're talking about dating, that's different. But if we're married, we should be sharing that information. We should have full transparency and know that about what we're doing, what we're building, what we're working on. It's like having a business partner and they're like, I'm not going to tell you how much this side of the business is making. That's weird. Like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, that's not going to work. Like, if we're building together, we have to have full transparency so we know where we're going and what we're working with.
As a
So
woman,
choose a partner
I
that
don't know
knows.
if I don't know if I would want. I don't know. I think a man should keep some things a little bit not hidden, not even a secret. He's just aware that as women, we can be erotic sometimes. As women, we can be emotional. And I think that men as leaders, you know, handling the money and handling the providing part of the relationship, know that, you know, if you told your woman every single thing that you had, then, you know what I mean? At some point, if things go left, she gonna go left with it. You know what I mean? It might come to that. If it comes to that, that's very extreme. But what I'm saying is there are some things that a man should control for the nature of the family and not necessarily, oh, well, you know, you should know, we should be transparent about every single little thing when it comes to money. I think that you trust him enough, you're with him and trust him enough to be able to provide and lead the family. And so knowing every single little thing when it comes to finances is like, I don't even want to know every single little thing. As long as we not, you know, sinking and going under, then that should be, you know, where we're at a point where I can trust you enough to carry the ship, but not knowing. I wouldn't even want to know everything, honestly.
And that's a perfect example of choosing the woman for you. Because there are women like Precious who that and they don't want to be a part of those specific details. And then there are women who are really good financially and want to be a part of those details. So choose the woman for you. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, I don't think it's not. I don't think it's not being part of the details. I think it's a part of just a higher trust and honor for who you say you trust. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm going to be a dummy towards what's going on in the house and the finances, but at the end of the day, I'm not counting every single penny in your pocket. I'm not doing that. I trust you enough to do what's right with the money.
Yeah, but there's a lot of relationships where the men just
the woman is better.
Woman handles all the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows where the money is. He'll ask her, hey, I need to get this. And she'll be like, okay, it's here in this account and you can get it. I know a lot.
What the trust is just put up in her hands.
At finances than others. So I'm going to answer the question. I feel like a lot was said and a lot was read. Am I supposed to be answering this specific question or everything that you read? Because there was a lot in there.
I mean, everything. The question and just your thoughts about the rest of the slides.
Okay, so the question is, most men don't have a problem providing for women. Great. But do most men have the means to, is my question. And there was a lot of stuff in there about hypergamy and attraction and blah, blah, blah. But the means is the question. Sure, you might don't have a problem with it, but that depends on a certain type of woman that you're dating. You might date a woman that is okay with like bare minimum. Sure, you might have the means to provide for her. But there are some women, if they get their hair done, if they get their nails done, and you're like, I can provide for you. Is she supposed to bring her standard down of how she usually cares for herself? If you're wanting her to stay home and now you're providing for her, like, well, I'll provide for you, but you can't get your nails done anymore. So I do think like hypergamy and attraction, all that does matter, because there are guys who who are 50-50 guys, but they want a woman that is hypergamous. And I've had a lot of guys, even on the panel, they'll come to me with that simp mentality and they'll say, well, how come a girl like you won't ever give a guy like me a chance? They say that. So it's like, you don't want to level up, but you want me to come down to be on your level. And I don't think that's fair. I think those guys need to date the women that they can afford.